This is D. Christopher, and you are tuned in to Jiggaset Radio. Check it out, y'all.
What you see now on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jiggaset. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me on in the know on Jiggaset Radio. What you see now on the internet? Nah, I was listening to Jiggaset. Oh, I be listening to every show, keeping me on in the know on Jiggaset Radio.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to yet another episode of Jiggaset Radio. We finally got somebody on the show.
I know.
I'm already talking shit, and you guys know how I do. Welcome to the stage, and it's a stage. It's a new stage, and we'll get into that in a second, too. Welcome to the stage, D. Christopher, y'all. Y'all make some noise.
How y'all doing? Happy to be here, y'all. I made it.
He made it.
I was early.
He was early. He came from the...
Did not do the typical.
There was no okie doke involved in that one. It was more. He had to accommodate from coming from the country to get out here. So we had to. It's if you guys are in the Dallas region and understand that Forney is not in the Dallas region, it's just a whole nother continent outside. In fact, they just got 5G last week, y'all.
He's not telling the truth. On my side of town, anyway. On the other side, you might be telling the truth.
The plot thickens. So
look, I'm giving away too much. Let me stop bragging on my city.
Welcome to the show. So I always do this. I like to allow the audience to get to know who you are. So we're going to start with the basics. So just tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you came from. I'm sure your mom, but like, like where are you from? Like the basic stuff you fill out on the application, like your actual name, things like that.
I feel like I'm about to do a job interview. Yes. Okay. So I grew up in El Paso, Texas. I was originally born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Aliquippa to be exact. But y'all from Pittsburgh area, y'all know Aliquippa.
Ooh, spell that.
Aliquipa.
Is it like corny?
Yeah. Okay. It's a little bit smaller, but yes. Oh. So my dad, again, was in the military, and we got stationed in Texas. I ended up here.
What branch of the military?
Military, in the Army.
Oh, okay.
Army. Yeah. So
I'm definitely going to touch on that in a bit.
Okay.
Actually, I'll just segue right into that because we had guests on the show that had a military background. They were military brats, if you will. How did that affect your upbringing?
Wow. Okay. So a lot of people that say they're military brats, they get to travel around a lot overseas, but I didn't really get any of that. Okay. I got the short end of the stick, but we were a little bit, because they be talking about stuff and I'd be like, I didn't get to take part in none of that. Yeah. We got Killeen, Texas was the first duty station, and then El Paso. And that was it. So my sister got like Germany and all of that. And then while him and my mom were married, we were supposed to go back to Germany. And then that didn't work out. Then it was supposed to be Korea. And then that didn't work out. And then unfortunately, they ended up getting divorced after that. Okay. Yeah. It was exciting for a little bit. I thought I was going to get to meet some German men or something.
So you mentioned that your parents got divorced. And around what time frame in your childhood did they become separated? That's
the thing about the military. So like when your family members in the military, they're always gone, especially the father, whether it's the father or the mother. Every 6 months they're gone. They come home for maybe 3 weeks and then they back out again for another 6, 18 months, whatever it is. He was gone a lot. So then when they officially got separated and divorced, I was probably 11.
Okay.
But it really wasn't any different.
Okay.
Because he was gone here and there.
Yeah.
But you definitely notice the difference because they're divorced, they're separated. Right. Life moves on, they separate. He got remarried and had his own family at that point in time. So my dad and I were probably estranged from 11 to probably I was 25.
Wow. Okay.
So for a while. So we've reconnected now. We have a great relationship now.
Okay.
But yeah.
Military provides structure. And so were you able to learn any of those things from your dad? Like growing up, do you believe in a level of discipline and structure because you are a military
brat? Yes. We had to get up. You had to make your bed. You had to clean. You couldn't have no wrinkles in your sheets. So we definitely learned that. And then when my dad was home, he had to reassimilate to regular culture as well. So there would be maybe a week and a half or 2 week time period where everything was weird as far as eating and different things like that. But yeah, it definitely teaches you discipline. It teaches you structure. We still got all the benefits. So we could go on the military base and mingle with other military kids and stuff. So yeah, just growing up and learning that stuff.
Okay. We're still here with you, Chris, for you guys.
Yes.
Diving into his background a little bit. So continuing on that timeline, you said from 11 to 25. Mm-hmm. So there was that period where you were essentially learning how to be a man.
Yes.
Especially when your dad wasn't necessarily around for two reasons. One, the divorce. Mm-hmm. So your family became a little bit segmented, if you will. Yeah. And then him just not being there because of the fact that he was overseas or on assignment or whatever the case is. So how did you, with your training growing up or just the direction you got from your dad growing up into transitioning into learning about yourself, preferences and things like that, how did that whole thing unfold for you?
It was definitely weird growing up, especially growing up and knowing you were different from other kids and stuff. And I tried to date girls and stuff when I was younger, and it just never felt the same.
He's gay, yeah.
I am gay. I'm part of the Rainbow Club.
He subscribed to the plus community.
So I am. So it was definitely different. And then I was raised in the house with my mom, my grandmother, and my sister. So I was around females mostly growing up. And so it was definitely different. It was definitely hard. I used to read a lot. Mm-hmm. I think one of the big eye-opening moments for me as far as my sexuality and who I was as a man raising myself pretty much is I started reading James Earl Hardy books.
Okay.
And again, I'm in El Paso. So people don't know, El Paso is West Texas. It's mostly Hispanic.
We know.
Y'all know for the people. It's mostly Hispanic. So growing up Black in that town outside of the military base, you're different. You're outliers. That was definitely weird. Reading James Earl Hardy, B-Boy Blues was the first book I read. Yeah. And I was like, oh, there's other Black people that are gay, Black guys. Oh my God. Okay. I'm not alone. I used to read a lot, and that was my escape to learn more about the outside world and who I would like to be as a gay man. Right. And it gave you different perspectives. And that kind of taught me a lot. But again, just other friends, other guy friends. I had a lot of my friends at the time, believe it or not, were straight, and they knew I was gay, but I wasn't treated any different.
That's good.
And so I was still cool. I got to hang with the boys and be myself. And so I learned how to be a man through them. Yeah. And some of them still had their fathers in them lives too. So that kind of helped out a lot.
Yeah. So that's all like good, establishes a good baseline for who you are and like how integrity, having good set of friends around you to help you like perpetuate like certain escaping.
Yes, I was gonna say
escaping El Paso.
Yeah, I did escape too. We're gonna talk about that.
So when you did eventually leave El Paso, and then I guess the next destination was here, Dallas.
No, okay. So I'm gonna tell y'all a story. I actually ran away. Oh, you can hear the ice. My bad. Let me put my cup down.
Oh, child. I'm worried about that. Post edits, we get rid of that.
Okay, you're gonna be complaining
about the sound.
I'm editing. Yeah. I'm not taking this out.
Let me do that. I'm gonna stop shaking my cup.
No, you're fine.
You're fine.
No, funny story. So I actually ran away from home at 18. I was 18, but
you was legal.
I was legal. It's a whole thing. It's a whole story. It really was.
Go ahead. It was just
called myself running away, right? So I went way farther than 7-Eleven, child. I went off the deep end. So
who was the best coach?
No, I didn't go there, which would have been a good idea, actually. But I didn't. I went to Florida.
JSR does not encourage running away, by the way.
Please don't, y'all.
There's a lot of walls.
But let me tell you, look, I was smart. So I raised myself. I had learned a lot. So I was very smart. But I went to Florida. And with that, from El Paso.
Hold on. I'm thinking he going up the street.
No, I told you I ran away.
Baby, that was intentional. You don't just run away to Florida.
It was very intentional.
Did you hate? Did you go through?
Baby, I was.
You had a lot of time to rethink this.
It was a whole plan. I'm not even gonna lie.
Oh yeah, indeed.
Luckily, I did have the opportunity to travel with my mom when I was younger, right? So I knew how to navigate an airport, that kind of stuff.
Okay, so this was, you got on a plane.
I bought a ticket.
I think you just hopped in the car and
No, baby, I bought a ticket.
Oh, this was definitely plotted.
It was a big little thing. And my mom had got remarried. Mm-hmm. And just, he was not a good person at all. And unfortunately, I didn't have much of a buffer from him in that part of side of it. And I think with him too, He might have knew I was gay. He might have knew that I grew up without a dad. And so I think he was trying to be that. But I'm 18. I'm 17. I'm 18. I don't need you to teach me nothing from that side. Yeah. I had made it. I was supposed to go to college. And my mama had about faced on me and was like, I'm not paying for it. We'll talk about that in a minute. She was like, I'm not paying for it. You need to go to the military. Now, this is what I will tell you. And any military brat will tell you, if you grew up as a military brat, your parents are like so you're going to go to college. You're going to get an education. And so that's one thing that I did learn from my dad, because he was from Mississippi, and that's how they got out of Mississippi. And so his thing was like, no, you're not going to the military. You crazy? You're going to go to school. So that's what I grew up with. Yeah. And I had did all the work to get accepted and all that kind of stuff. And she told me she wasn't going to pay for it. And I had to go to the military, and I was like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm going to get up out of here. Yeah. Because I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And so I've concocted this whole plan. One of my other military brat friends, their parents was real cool, and they had got stationed in Tampa. And I was like, can I move in with you? And she asked them, and they said, yeah. And she did. And they told me, yes, I could move in with them because they understood the whole situation. And I did. I had bought me a plane ticket. Now, mind y'all, I used to work at the military grocery store. It's called the commissary. And I was bagging groceries, getting tips. Y'all, I had saved up enough money to get a ticket. Oh, yeah. We used to make good money. Okay. From 13 up, we was working to pay for stuff. Yeah. And again, I think that also played into who I am today, knowing to do that. But yeah, I had saved up enough money and tips to get a ticket. I paid for luggage. I had shipped all my clothes in boxes. I was out. Oh, wow. I was like, nope, I'm going to start a new life. Okay. And I did. I moved to Tampa for several months, and I was working. I had 2 jobs. We was about to get an apartment. We got approved for it. I hadn't moved in yet. And then my mama called and was like, please come back home. You can go to college. I'll pay for it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then I came back.
Okay, so you went to Tampa and attempted to start a new life. And what did that teach you, being in Tampa? That was your first time on your own, right?
Oh, my God, yeah. It wasn't super smooth, but it wasn't super bad either. My bad. No, you're fine. And so my friend had a contentious relationship with her mom a little bit, so we got kicked out the house a couple times. I had to get a motel. Let me not say hotel. Motel. It wasn't pretty. But it was fine. I had a job. I was making money. I was getting ready. I had actually enrolled in community college. Okay. So I was about to start going to school and everything. So it did teach me. I was already independent because I had to be. Yeah. But it just taught me more about, okay, you need to be more aware of your surroundings, who you're involved with. It also taught me, like, what I'm not interested in being involved with. And so it just taught me that little independence and how to really start a life on my own. So I came back. I went to college, but I was still really independent. Yeah. And money management. I guess I can say that too.
And we'll get into that because he has a whole book about budgets and things of that nature. Okay, cool. So you came back to Texas, El Paso. And then when did you move here to Dallas?
I moved to Dallas in 2018. Okay. June of 2018.
And you went out to that country?
I didn't go out there until a couple years later. Okay. But that was always in the plan, though.
To move out
not to Forney, but I was looking at Fate and Forney. I was very budget conscious. I don't want to be house poor.
That's Rockwall, Chad.
Rockwall. And I was like, ooh, we get to drive over the bridge. It's a lake. This is pretty out here.
Yeah, it's a whole nother planet over there.
I am from Dallas, and I don't even know where the hell that was.
She's the next city behind Rockwall going east on 30.
Yeah.
Too far.
Don't go past that.
Ain't nothing out there.
Ain't nothing else past that.
Give it about 5 more years, they're going to have a whole civilization out there. There's going to be another Christopher Columbus. They're going to come out there.
The city I was told not to move to when I was looking at Fate is now blowing up. Yeah.
You saying not to move to Fate?
No, the city I was told not to move to, which is past Fate, is actually blowing up now. There's a lot of us moving out there.
Greenville?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I know what Greenville is.
So Fate is just somewhere in the middle. Just she in there somewhere in the mix.
It's different now, I'm sure.
That's small.
Oh, yeah. You come down the interstate, she's like Mesquite got 8 exits. Yeah. She got 1.
Yeah.
And if you miss it,
and you can go to the left or the right. That's it.
She spread. She a little wide. She go a little left.
It's out there. Beautiful homes, though.
We got these shots, bro. Let's take them.
Okay.
Now, let me say this. Please don't talk about how I take shots, because this is how I do it. I drink my shots. I don't slam them back, because I get a little nauseous, a little gas.
Okay, I don't need you throwing up on any equipment.
I won't.
Because Jeremy got to clean it up.
And this is why a new production team started.
He doing good. He doing good. We ain't have to clean up nothing. We got it.
All right.
we starting soon.
This is do I have to do? What are we toasting to? Yeah. Okay, sure. This is to your book for your final appearance on the show. Right?
Maybe.
And to you guys that's viewing with us, toast with us.
Cheers.
Salud. Let's see how the quality of this interview is going to go by in about 20 minutes. All right, so
great thing. They're coming up on the commercial break.
yeah, but we're not there yet.
We got a lot.
We're not there yet. All right, we sit here hanging with D. Chris for you guys. He shared a lot of insight on his upbringing, his militant mindset, and sharing his independence and how that has allowed him to be versatile as far as moving around and just being present. And now here in Dallas, and when you move to Dallas, the culture is vastly different than El Paso. And even though it's in the same country of Texas, it's vastly different. And so, like, how was the assimilation process? And then what led to, which we'll get to, your book and like knowing how to manage financial differences as far as moving around, like how to manage your money. So let's talk about the assimilation process first. Like,
Definitely. It was easy.
Okay.
Excuse me. I've been in these Dallas streets for a long time. So it was definitely familiar for me. Like I told you, I went to college at 18, but I was in San Marcos, Texas. So Dallas is one of our little party spots.
Austin. Okay.
In the Austin area. So we used to come up to Dallas all the time.
Oh, okay.
And I had a lot of friends and contacts before then. I'd actually tried to move to Dallas several times before that. So before I moved here, I lived in Houston for several years.
Okay, you just skipped over that part.
I'm coming back to it. I got to give you the answer.
He said, I'm going to tell my story the way I want to tell it.
No, but I'm like, it's going to tell you, it's going to make a lot of sense. I promise.
Okay.
I had lived in Houston for a while. Mike can attest, my best friend. So I lived in Pittsburgh a little bit before that. When we moved to Houston, let me finish. It's all gonna make sense. I promise.
Okay, can you like put a map on? You know what? I'm gonna do it like post editing. I'm gonna put a map up here, and then we're gonna draw all over the United
Please
States.
do. Because you know what though? It's some people scared to move out of their hometowns. I'll take it.
Oh,
Fine,
okay.
let's do it. I had lived in Pittsburgh, where I was from, for a little bit. I would move back home, where I met my best friend, and then I was in a relationship at the time. It didn't go good, so we decided to leave Pittsburgh and move to Houston.
Okay.
Okay.
And this is Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Okay.
By
car.
Because studio audience said by car.
By car. We did.
Okay. Thank you for the clear.
We did.
Some people took a blur.
That was a 22-hour drive.
2 minutes.
Straight, okay, with nothing but Black and Milds and Red Bulls. But anyway, that was back in the day. That's my old life. And Fantasia.
Which album? She get you through anything. Side Effects of You.
Was it Side Effects of You? I think it was Side Effects
That
of
was
You.
my shit too.
I think it was.
Because that was my shit. When I was going through my shit in St. Louis, Side Effects of You was on every car ride.
St. Louis. Oh, interesting.
Oh, is it? Speaking of El Paso's.
Yeah, it definitely is. We're going to skip over that. But we picked up and moved to Houston.
Okay.
And it was a ride, baby. It was a ride to make it through. But again, I had the skill sets and we made it work. We was poor, baby. We had no money.
Not poor, but po.
Po. Like, funny stuff. We talked about this the other day. We had no money, very little money. We used to have prepaid lights to where they would take off so much money from your light bill every month.
Pause, Granddad. What is a prepaid light?
I don't think, I wonder, do they still have it? This was like the early mid 2000s. Yeah.
But what's the concept?
You pay $50 to set up your account. Okay. And you put your lights in. They cut your lights on. Every day, so much comes off of that balance. Oh. So it could be like $9 a day or something like that.
Setup, child.
Let me tell you. And then they charge you for your usage per day. So it's per day comes off that balance plus however much you use the previous day.
It's electricity on demand. That's what it is.
Literally.
It's giving hell no for me.
Literally.
Because look, you have one kickback, and that's a $14 day. You done drained my balance? Baby, no, it's $10 missing.
All prepaid lights shouldn't be having kickbacks.
Because I'm going to go in and turn the goddamn lights on.
Baby. And if your balance drops below $30 or something like that, they cut the lights off.
They cut it off, or they gonna re-up?
They cut your lights off.
They don't still got money on the account?
But it's below $30.
So you don't have a $20 buff?
Let somebody else do it.
Is this company still existing? Do not mention them.
You know what's crazy? It's not you have the power to choose. Or that. It's all the companies that they offer. Not all of them, but some of them offer it. The biggest one, Reliant on them.
That's here in Texas.
Yes, we were in Houston.
Texas is deregulated, so we have a whole bunch of girls that's in the plan.
I know that part of it, but I had never
heard of that concept.
Now, mind you, you do that because you don't have good credit or you don't have a lot of history to get a regular account. So we were on prepaid lights, and there would be days where they would cut the lights off. And I'd be at home, and Mike would be at work, and I'd be like, "Don't come home yet. I just have to put some money." On. And it takes an hour for them to cut it back on.
Hell no! Wouldn't that work for me, especially with this house?
No.
Oh no!
Hell no!
It's funny now.
Imagine just doing this podcast and
then you gonna pick up your phone and you gonna put $10 on it. You better find something to do for an hour. No, Houston is hot.
Indeed.
So you landed. Luckily, we were on the bottom floor. It's a little cool.
7-Eleven and hang up. Y'all need some help.
It was a lot. So I say all that to say we learned a lot on survival in Houston, and I just applied that when I was in a way better situation when I moved here to Dallas. But yeah, I applied that same concept. Start from the bottom and build your way up. And now you're here, you know?
Yeah, they put that in the song.
Speaking of here, we're going to take a quick break. I need to be set after that prepaid situation. So we'll be right back. But tune in for the word from the sponsors, y'all. All right, so we're back from our break, y'all. The Baby Shark reference came up. You tune into that episode about my golden hair that I had that looks like Baby Shark.
Oh my God.
That was in April? That was during the photo shoot.
It was.
Yes.
I'm gonna go back.
That was a test of my self-esteem, by the way, guys. And I will dive into that in a different episode. But we're still here with D. Christopher. He's been doing such a great job. You guys make some noise for him. And so we talked about a couple things.
Our eyes have seen it at the last minute.
It was giving us a dance move from somebody's Janet Jackson video, but
okay.
He's gonna be the next guest on here. Just figure that out. But yeah,
like you looking for
reclaiming my time. Yes. So we went through a couple things in the first segment of the podcast episode. We talked about your childhood, your militant background, your exploration, your Dora Explorer adventure.
Not Dora the Explorer.
It's definitely
with my backpack.
And not to mention, did y'all catch that? I'm pretty sure y'all caught that. The fact that he just skipped over 5 cities. It just got, when I say, so your Explorer, your transition to Dallas, I was in Pittsburgh and I was in Houston and I was in Miami. I went to Tampa.
Miami.
I went to Tampa. I swam across the ocean.
You know.
I actually flew.
I had to find my home. Amen.
It's giving Finding Nemo. So.
I can't see. It was so sad.
We were talking about matching wits. I'm winning. The scoreboard has proven.
I mean, come on.
I'm gonna let him have it.
No, you cannot.
How many cities have you lived in? St. Louis, Chicago, Dallas.
Yes, but see, when I explained that, I would have said that in that order.
But you were asking me a question, so I was making a point. I had to give you a point. Yeah, because then you're gonna be like, "Well, I don't understand."
You have to guide us to the point.
The point is that y'all can move wherever y'all want to find yourself, and you can start from the bottom and get where you.
I'm so glad you introduced that segment because we're gonna play off of that. So, what type of advice would you give someone that is looking to start their life over? Okay. Since you see how it did that?
You want me to answer the question? Let me speak it to the mic.
That sounds amazing.
Okay. Do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy, and don't give up.
Okay, that was very political, but let's dissect that. Are we running for office or what?
No.
So let's dissect that for a second. So you are, say like you are an individual that's watching this podcast, come across it on YouTube or whatever. Shout out to you, YouTube. And you're looking for some answers, right? Mm-hmm. And we're in a digital age where people will just move to the internet, look on the internet for answers. Mm-hmm. And they come across this podcast. And so they're looking to feel something. They want to hear something to move something. And so when they hear you say, I moved to these various cities, what type of mental state you have to be in to uproot yourself and say, fuck it, let's just do it. What would you say, what kind of mental state were you in where you felt like I need to move and make this change?
Betting on myself. I know plenty of times my mom, family members, friends was like, you need to get stable. You need to sit where you need to be, this and that. But at the end of the day, I had my own journey. Yep. I had my own goals. I had my own purpose. And you go on your own journey for that. And through me listening to myself and betting on myself, I was able to not only learn a lot, I was able to meet great friends. If I hadn't did what I did, I wouldn't have met my best friend was in my life. And I think everybody has their own template. They have their own path in life. And sometimes people want you to go A to B to C. Sometimes you got to do the Dora the Explorer or whatever, find a Mimo. But you're always going to come out on the other end more self-assured and stronger. Yep. And you'll have more confidence in yourself. So just listen to yourself, bet on yourself, but also pay attention to what's not working too. And don't feel like you're stuck and you have to stay in a certain situation.
Absolutely. And thank you for that. Mm-hmm. The other thing I wanted to touch on before we move forward with the discussion, well, it's already moving forward, is we mentioned the college versus no college, right? And so another guest that we had on the show mentioned, we had that brief conversation about the importance of share the sweets. The conversation with, we talk about the importance of education and is it for everyone to go to college? And I mentioned YouTube University being a tool to learn things and skill sets and things. And is, as a military brat, you can answer this, is the current traditional institution that's in place for receiving education, colleges or whatever, vocational schools, do you still think there is relevance to still having those type of institutions in place versus being able to just learn things freely from the internet? Do you think it still has a staple? Do you think it's still a staple here in 2024?
I think it is in 2024. And again, I think it's, like you said, it's YouTube University. It's really the same. When you go to college, people think they're going to teach you A to B to C, every little thing that you need to know to get you to Z. And they're not. So when you go to college, you're actually teaching yourself. If you take yourself out of the situation and think about what you're actually doing, you're actually teaching yourself. You're going through, you're reading a textbook, you in researching on the internet to write essays and research papers, and you're presenting that to a professor in a certain way for them to deduct how good your research was and how you presented the topic that you need to make. So I really think it's the same thing. You don't really have to go to college to get that degree, to get that knowledge. You just spending money. And whatever way you get out here and you get it, whether you want to be an entrepreneur, a teacher, whatever, it's fine. Now, again, some positions require you to have a degree as a requirement. So I'm a proponent of education. You got to think of college in a different way. You're really teaching yourself, to really be honest.
Yeah, for sure. And then so having our parents that have that mindset of in that generation X, that they want that you got to go to school, get an education, get a job, work the job, be on a job for 20 years and all that stuff. How do you feel that has changed now in 2024 with the millennial generation, and then the alpha generation, the Z, millennial, Z, and then alpha.
All together.
Starting back over. How do you think that's changed since that time where our parents thought that you got to go to school, you get a job, you work the job, support your family, and you make money on that job, even though you could be at that job literally for 20 years and see like maybe a $15,000, $20,000 increase. And there's so many different ways of making money now. Like, where do you stand with the whole traditional mindset from our parents versus now 2024? How you make money, like where do you fall?
I think that my whole mindset is this: you can go out, you can get certifications now, you can get training and expertise with Fiverr and these different freelance applications and stuff like that to get that experience that could take you to the next level. If you want to be an entrepreneur, social media phenom, whatever it could be, you could do that. You don't have to go the traditional route anymore to be successful. Success is different. It looks different for everybody.
Right.
Back in the day, it wasn't the same thing. You had to have that degree. We didn't have access to universities and online education like we have today. So again, just keep going out there and getting it, but just always make sure whatever it is that you do it to the best of your ability.
Right.
You get those certifications, you put the work in, you build your resume, your portfolio, if you will, and just get out there and get it. You don't have to go to school. You don't have to go to get a college degree unless what you want to do requires it. It is. Yeah. Life is its best teacher. Look at Elon Musk and all of them. They didn't go to college. They got out here and learned it and YouTubed it or whatever, read books. And I think that's another thing too. We really have to get back to actually reading books. A lot of the knowledge that you have or you want for these certain things are in books.
Yeah.
But we don't read books. We don't like to read because it's not cool or whatever. But you're missing a lot of stuff by not doing that. So again,
well, I mean, there's different ways of just because I would say personally that I'm not a traditional book reader.
Mm-hmm.
If there's something beyond what you got right there, it's going to get a little hit and miss. It's going to get a little dicey.
Yeah.
And I'll resort to additional resources that will allow me to assimilate the information, Audible, or whatever the case is. So I can still like multitask. Because like for me, just sitting still and reading something, turning pages, it's just so quiet in here. I said, my ADD kicks in. And so, but if I'm able to like listen to it as I'm going to sleep, walk around, like working on stuff, I can still absorb the information that's being said, and I don't have to sit there and flip through books or pages rather. But yes, for sure. Yeah, thank you for that perspective. No, for sure. And I set that up on purpose. I put the bottle before it, because y'all, he has a book.
An actual book.
And I'm gonna have you just explain what made you write this book, the name of the book, what made you write this book, and then we'll tie in the last bit of the conversation we just had into why you wrote this book.
Yes.
So go ahead and talk to us about that.
So definitely. So again, I wrote the book. Like I said, I grew up having to really work, save, and get myself out of situations financially that I had got myself into. And I learned a lot through that. And I found out that through learning that and learning from experience, I had a lot of friends, family that had questions about certain things that I already had answers to. And so I would find people coming to me oftentimes and figuring out, wanting to know how to budget and how to get life insurance and just how to manage their finances to better set them up for different events that could happen in their life. And so I figured out, no, we don't really have the knowledge in our communities to really take care of finance, build generational wealth. Right. We don't have trust funds. And I just started researching about it, really thinking about it a little bit. And I realized that in the Black community, one of the things that's really prevented us from excelling is not being able or having access to generational wealth from past generations. And through researching how to do that and how other people have done it, I decided, you know what, let me compile this information that I've learned and I've put in place for my life and disseminate it to other people and really try to get them to dissect it and not be afraid of it. And know that, again, in order to build generational wealth, you don't have to be rich. You can start today. And that's the main key. Is starting, right? And building on those different aspects of budgeting, opening trust, investing, things like that. So I put that all into the book in hopes that people would take it and dissect it and then also hand it down to their kids or their loved ones and friends to do the same.
That's amazing. And so let's talk about the process for those that's either never considered writing a book or is in the process, but it's like they're in their own way. Mm-hmm. What was that journey for writing your first? This is your first book, right?
This is my first
book.
And
so what was that journey mentally, emotionally? What was that looking like? Did you feel intimidated? Did you feel like this is a lot or like a lot of time? Yeah. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, definitely felt like it was a lot of time. It was intimidating at first because you don't know how to start. I always say that's the first key to anything is really just starting if you want to do it. But once I started writing it down, I outlined it first. What are the topics that I want to cover that I think are the most important? And then building on that outline from there, chapter by chapter, and then putting the information in there that I felt was really good information. I think one of the other challenges was translating that into a format that's easy for people to read, not going too in depth and getting too technical because you don't want to lose people. And making sure that it kept everyone engaged. And then, just the process of getting it published by a distribution company and making sure that I can get it in bookstores and all that. That was really hard. I actually was rejected a couple of times, but I found a way around it. And so I did self-publishing versus going and giving my manuscript to different publishing publishing companies and saying, will you sponsor this book? I did self-publishing. I found a company that specializes in making self-publishing easy for those that want to do it. You do have to do your own marketing and all of that, but that's the route I chose to go. And
that's why he's here.
That's when I'm here. I got to work on it. I still got to be a little bit better at it.
So can I ask you this?
Yes.
Just for our listeners and our viewers, can we work out and get some type of code specific for the viewers so that we can place it in the video?
Absolutely.
So that we can definitely
push it for me. Yes, I will get you a code. The book is available in all stores everywhere on Amazon. If you purchase the book through my website, dchristopherofficial.com, I will give Jigga Radio a code. Maybe that's what I'll make it.
He gave us a whole new name.
Jigga Set. Jigga Set Radio. Jigga Set Podcast.
Come on, Quilla.
Bruh. No, but see, thank you. I will definitely give the guys a code that y'all can use to purchase the book at a discount. And you can purchase it as a gift, but also make sure you get one as a copy for yourself for sure.
All right, cool. So that is so great that he made this book, guys, because there's an epidemic in the black community where sometimes, a lot of times, I'm gonna talk about us. It's Jigga. We talking about other Jiggas. Jigga Set Radio now, baby. The movers and shakers.
or the no movers.
Oh my God.
Or the ones that need to be resuscitated.
Throw him away.
For the individuals that are not so great with managing money, like you think about different scenarios, like we got the stimulus checks that came from the government. We're thinking about the tax refund checks that come usually in this time frame, this time of year. Just knowing that people do not invest or do not properly utilize their money to either get out their debt. They're hood rich, if you will. And hood, they get the money, it hits their account, it's not negative. It's giving positive, unless it was negative, it just inched you back to positive a little bit. But and we all know how that situation goes.
It happens to all of us.
College and real life, and speaking of experience, different.
It happens to all of us. I've been there.
Different episode. But yeah, so like for those individuals, do you think your book will be able to reach those audiences to re-educate them, not Lauryn Hill? But re-educate them. The miseducation.
Miseducation. Some of us don't get this at all. They've never gotten an education. They don't teach that in school. That's another big problem. Yes, I definitely think it will. And I have it in ebook format too for people that don't like books. That's for you.
I feel attacked on my own show.
It's a PDF. You can read it as a magazine, whatever. But no, yeah, I think it definitely will help out.
For the slow person.
Bruh. Who is slow?
The person that is not reading.
I listen. I'm an Audible listener.
I haven't done that, though. That's the next thing I need to do. And so you want to audition to be the Audible narrator?
Oh, I could.
I'm working on that.
I'm gonna be a little hood. Hey, y'all. This is
you're gonna be the BET of Audible.
Yes. This is Finances 101. This your boy Jeremy. I'll be hosting this whole Audible book.
Oh my goodness.
Please subscribe.
We're gonna get your audition tape.
Turn his mic down, please.
We're gonna get your audition tape. No, it will help. It gives you, I made it really simple. So like even on the budget, right? So I give you the 50-30-20 plan.
Okay.
So
talk us through that.
So the 50-30-20 plan, we'll break it down. So if you have a $100 bill and that's what you have, $50 needs to go towards your necessities, right? So that's your rent, your electricity bill. It could be prepaid lights. It does not matter.
I don't know who should advocate that. Choose wisely.
do what works for you, okay, in that particular moment. But your necessities, the things that you have to survive.
Right.
Okay. And then you still have $50 left, right? So out of that 50, 30 can go towards your wants, right? Again, going out to eat, DoorDashing, whatever the case may be. It's not a basic necessity for you to live, but you're budgeting 30% of that for that month. Now, I'm just giving you a $100 bill for now towards your wants. And then you need to automatically save 20%. Okay, so 20% is your savings. So $20 out of that $100 bill needs to go into either a 401k, an emergency fund, or just your basic savings account. So what I normally start with on that hierarchy is, for me, I do my 401k first. And that automatically goes out of my check. I don't have to worry about it. That's there for my retirement. And then I also do emergency funds. So you need to build up about 3 to 6 months worth of necessities in a savings account. That means your rent included, your bills. You want to save that up in an emergency savings account in case something bad happens, like you lose your job or anything like that. So you work on that, and you don't have to have it all done in a year. You don't have to have it all, as far as your savings, you don't have to have it all done in 6 months. Your savings is a continuous thing. So as long as you're continuing to contribute towards that, you'll find yourself in a safe enough situation if something does happen later down the line.
So that sounds dandy, but how do you, and I'm going to tap into what I said earlier, re-educate the Black person or individuals that been coded to, I'm in survival mode. And when I get something to come and hit my direct deposit, I got to just make the best of this. Fuck saving and all that stuff. I'm going to just do me. And so, like, how do you, like, for someone that has that mindset, whether it's a young individual that have never been educated or someone that's just been burnt so much to a point that they just feel like, I'm in survival. I'm not making enough to do that. Like, how would you approach that situation and tell them this is the way you should go?
Yeah. I've been there. So in those situations, survive. Prioritize your survival over your wants and your needs. So that $100 bill, I'm saying 50, 30, 20, that may be $80 out of that $100 bill for you. And then the other ones, you eliminate wants because those are not necessities to keep you alive, but it'll still give you at least $20 or something to save towards. So you can still save that $20 and just continuously do that, and you'll build up a savings. If you continue to do that, prioritize your necessities and your savings, you'll find yourself later on down the line in a situation where you can start to get out of what you've gotten into. And a lot of times when we're in those survival modes, right, so for a majority of us, is because we done got ourselves into debt.
Some shit.
And what that means is you're prioritizing your wants over your necessities. Yeah. So don't go into debt over something that's not required for you to survive. It's crazy. If you look at some of the top people that makes a lot of money, they have a lot of savings, they're doing a lot of stuff, they don't have any debt. They don't want to get into any debt. So that's the big trap in our current system in America, is really debt is what's financing and keeping our economy afloat. And that's why you hear them talk about that so much. Right. So if you can eliminate debt, pay stuff with cash, or only Klarna or ForPay, for example, if you don't have the money, but you really want to get whatever you want to get, split it into 4 payments. Okay.
This message was brought to you by.
I'm just saying, I ain't trying to sponsor nobody without sponsoring them, but split it into 4 payments. And y'all know that when we were growing up, our parents used to tear layaway up.
Away, child.
And you would never, everything would be on layaway. And then you would have your clothes for the first day of school, Christmas, everything. You didn't get stuff right away. You don't really hear about layaway no more.
No, it's been, do it exist?
At certain stores.
So it exists, but it's just been modernized. Then we have Afterpay, Klarna, that's basically modern day layaway. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they've prioritized you getting it now versus later.
Because that's the society we live in. Everyone wants everything now.
Yeah.
And you brought up something that I'm going to definitely bring to your attention to see how you deal with it. And so it is the power of credit and leveraging credit. And you mentioned paying things with cash, but also I'm just going to leave it here, and then I'm going to see how you respond to it.
Okay.
Having credit cards, good or bad?
Good.
How can you leverage it to make it a good thing?
Okay, so I don't want to lose everybody here. So hold on. I'm sitting here thinking how I'm going to dissect this. Okay. All right. Ready? So the bigger picture, you have things called assets and you have things called liabilities. Okay. Credit, as we know it, as our people have used it, has been used as a liability. Okay. You using credit to buy a car or a Rolex watch or action figures, Marvel action figures or something like that. You got to pay it off. That's a liability. Right? He used credit to buy this sweater. Let me not lose it. Okay, so we've historically used debt as a liability. Right. the 1%ers are rich people, okay? They use credit as an asset. So what they do is they buy things on credit that are considered assets, like rental homes. It could be a car, but it's attached to a business where they're renting that car out and it's generating revenue. Mm-hmm. So if you use credit, like Beyonce said, pay me in equity, watch me reverse all the debt. I ain't gonna promote nobody's album, but I really need to listen to the album. That's what she's talking about. So you can utilize credit to buy equities, right, or assets that, again, generate income for you. And then as that asset generates revenue, it'll pay itself off in a sense. So if we use credit for those purposes, it'll pay us back. Mm-hmm. And again, there's very specific categories for that. So you cannot go wrong. Google it, YouTube University, they'll tell you on how to do that. Again, we sometimes, have historically used credit to survive. Mm-hmm. And that just gets you into trouble because you still got to pay it off. Mm-hmm. And you don't have anything else generating income for you besides yourself to do that. So if you're going to use credit, you're going to get those loans, get a loan to get a rental property, and then rent it out to somebody else that's going to pay you rent every month, right? And let it pay itself off.
So the miseducation that is affluent in our community about how we leverage credit, thinking that credit cards, if we could just get approved for a credit card, when there's a $500 limit, $2,000, $10,000. When people typically see in our community, right, when we see that we have, oh my God, I got all this money I could just burn through. Would this book help provide structure?
Yes.
Okay.
So it does give you what you should utilize. If you get a windfall or you get your income taxes, it does give you more insight on what to do with that money. Mm-hmm. And then it goes further into debt too. Like for those of us that are more mature, we have kids, we have families. It'll tell you what to do with that windfall and that money so that, God forbid, anything ever happens to you, your kids will be taken care of and they don't have to start from scratch or get it out the mud, so to speak, is what we say. So it does teach you all of those steps on how to set that up.
So how important is it, especially with us being in a millennial generation, to break the generational curse?
It's really important. I didn't dive into this too much in our book, but there's a generation out there called the lost generation. And those pretty much are our parents. And so what happened was whenever segregation ended and the Jim Crow and all that ended, a lot of our great-grandparents saved money. They had businesses. They had all this property. They had all of that. When they passed away, they left it to our parents, and they squandered it off. So there was a time when we really had generational wealth and we really understood what that was as a community. But unfortunately, the lost generation lost all that. And so we're starting from scratch. So today, for our generation, it's really important for us to understand it, not only because we can do right, we're in better positions normally, but we have the knowledge. And so it's really important for us to utilize the opportunities that we have that maybe our parents or great-grandparents didn't have to get this knowledge, and make sure we get ourselves set up and then make sure we have our further generation set up as well. So nice.
Before we wrap up, Did you mention like where people can buy books?
Yes.
What's right?
Yes, you can get it at all bookstores that sell books. So Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, and then also on my personal website, which is actually being revamped right now.
So it's under construction?
It's under construction. It should be coming back up in the next couple of days when this airs. But it's the letter D, and then ChristopherOfficial.com.
Okay.
And then again, I will provide everybody here on the podcast with a code so everybody can get a discount on purchasing that.
Look at the 5%.
It might be more than 5%.
I never know.
It might be more than 5%. It's Black History Month too.
Make sure it's in the budget.
This is the extra income stream, so it's in the budget.
Correct the people.
But you know,
I think a couple of people just logged off.
Oh Lord, look. No, but yeah, just definitely buy it. Again, even if it's not something that you're really interested in, definitely buy the book just to have it by your bedside. You get bored. It's only 70 pages, y'all.
It's only 70 pages.
It's only 70 pages. I did big font.
And he added pictures.
And it has pictures in it. And you know what's a fun fact?
You know black people love pictures.
You know what's a fun fact? In my book, I did Ancestry DNA. and I found out more about my ancestry. And I actually got my great grandfather's picture off of there, and it's in the book.
Nice.
To add that, yeah, for myself. But yeah, so definitely get it. Exactly.
He found Nemo, child. All right, so social media information.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at the letter is THE, the letter D, and then Christopher. Facebook is under my name, which is Deron Murray. And then, yes, my website again is the letter D, ChristopherOfficial.com.
Already.
I'm not on X anymore.
We'll dissect that later on.
Off camera.
Shout out to Elon. Thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it. Y'all make some noise for him.
Thank you for having me.
See, wasn't that painless?
Yeah.
See?
Absolutely.
He was so scary, but he ain't the only
I'm really shy.
Was he shy, y'all?
I don't believe that was it.
I'm gonna do a poll. I'm gonna let y'all tap in. It's the comments for me. So it's always the comments.
I am really shy.
The introvertedness, we didn't get into that. But it's okay. It's okay. Because we're gonna allow you guys to just tap in. Make sure you guys go out and support, go out to the website. Follow him on Instagram. Because I'm gonna hold him accountable. You gotta have an accountability partner and make sure that he does more. Because he was talking about more.
Yes.
He has to do more as well. He has something that he has a lot of knowledge that needs to be put in additional books, appearances. People need to see him. Yes, I'm going to put you on blast.
Yes. Oh, shout out any local bookstores, especially Black-owned bookstores in the Dallas area or anywhere in the world for that matter. If you want to reach out for a book signing or anything, please reach out to me on social media, or you can send dchristopherofficial@gmail.com.
Yes, already. Shout out to all the other worlds outside of Dallas. Again, make some more noise. We have reached the end of our podcast. Is there anything you would like to say to anyone before we conclude?
No, I want to thank you for having me. Thank y'all for hosting me again. This is amazing. And thank you for Inebriation Station for sponsoring.
No problem. I think that also helped him open up. So thank you so much for being on the show. Until next time, you guys stay merry and get your book.